is Martha. I'm a relationship counselor and clinical sexologist. And in today's video, I want to share with you the new sex education books that I just bought today. I'm very excited about it. I am a book lover. I have lots of books and I have 4 new ones to add to the collection. So let me show you what they are. The first one is It's My Body, a book about body privacy. It's written by Louis Spilsbury. It was published in 2018. The next one is Hair in Funny Places by Batty Cole. Publisher is Red Fox. And it doesn't actually say on the book when it was published. Oh yeah, at the back, 1999. It's a pretty old book. Hair in Funny Places. We'll go through them. And the next one is June and the Octopus. This did not look like a sex education book. I had to ask the shop assistant and she said it's actually by a local author. Story by Ekkers, Ekkers. However, what is impressive about it, it is actually published by Children's Society in Singapore. It's actually a Singapore book. So of course, when I was confused, I thought it's maybe introducing the octopus. What happened was I then read the back of this book and it says, June has a secret. It's about Mok, the uncle from the neighboring village who has come to help mom and pa. June is happy that Mok has taught him how to swim, but there is something that Mok does that worries him and gives him nightmares. What should June do? Question mark. What will happen to him? This is a book to introduce children to the issues relating to body safety. This book, if I'm not wrong, actually was featured in the papers. And when I first came across it, I was like, yeah, I want to get my hands on it. And this was published in 2019. So I'm going to talk about it very soon. Okay, and then the 4th book is Brilliant Questions About Growing Up. Simple questions about bodies and boundaries. Very, very concerned about bodies and boundaries. But what about pleasure? Okay, it's by Amy Forbes Robertson and Alex Fryer. Okay. Let's see. It was published in 2020. Okay, so last year. And I'm obviously not going to go through every single book in detail. However, I just wanted to give you guys an idea what are the books and what is inside beyond the book cover. Okay, so it says, what do you do? How do I know what love is? How many types of families are there? Who are my safe and trusted adults? Which parts are private? How was I born? What happens next? What is consent? So this is more of a book for people who are, okay, anyway, it's written, recommended for reading with an adult from the age of 7. So an adult will read it to someone and then be able to explain it. So this would be a very good conversation starter, or for independent reading from the age of 10. I would say that with all the pictures, it will definitely captivate their attention. And this is a coming of age book. I would have been very, very curious about it when I was a kid. And I would say probably for me, okay, maybe around the age of, say, 11 or 12, before my menstruation, I think would have been great. It would prepare me for all the changes in my body. Even though this book says it's all about boundaries and stuff, but I can see it's really about all the changes that happens to their bodies as they come of age, as they experience puberty, and then how do they start to explore navigating becoming a young person. Yeah, there's a grocery at the back as well of all the different terms. And I appreciate they try to make it inclusive of different family dynamics and also different sexual orientation. So this is very much, even the resources that they have given, it's very much UK based. It's UK company, UK publisher. So yeah, it's very much in the context of UK. Okay, so this would be a really good book for a young person who is coming of age, coming into their teenage years. Okay, let's talk about this book. Okay, this book, I was shocked when I saw it because it tackles a really taboo subject of sexual violence. And this person started to have nightmare. And the context is in the fishing village. So what happened was, after telling mom and dad, the uncle was sent off in a fishing boat. And I'm like thinking, okay, but we are no longer, this was written 2 years, like 3 years ago. We are no longer living in a fishing village. Like, contextually, how will a child be able to relate telling the parents and then sending off some pervert perpetrator into a fishing boat? Do you get what I mean? Like, what kind of closure would that give them? I mean, for them, it would be, okay, I told my parents and my parents took action. So that would be a really good thing. But in the parallel, it's a little bit far removed for a child to understand in modern day society what will happen then, because we are no longer living in a fishing village. Very much the images, however, are also drawn in a color that is not so appealing, I would say, for a person who is a girl. Okay, I know I'm making some generalization and stereotyping. So this is a boy being violated by the uncle. And yeah, so it's very much a boy. June sat on his favorite rock. So it's a boy being assaulted by a male adult. And so it's good to talk about it in the context of sexual violence of boys as well. But why don't you have a book for girls? Because girls actually get sexually violated, unfortunately, actually more often. So this is my thoughts. When I saw the book, I saw the design, I saw the color, I felt it was written, drawn, illustrated for a boy. And that's not to say sexual violence doesn't happen to boys and that boys don't deserve sex education. That's not what I'm saying. But they left out the girls. They didn't create a book that was friendly for girls. And it's important to know that sexual violence can happen regardless of gender. And also, like, fishing village context, like, I didn't really get it. Okay, so I was actually laughing about it with the cafe owner, because after buying the book, I went to a cafe and I said, hey, I show you my books that I bought. I opened up the book and I said, look, this is, you won't believe this book. It talks about sexual violence, and it's actually in the context of a fishing village. And then we were both like, huh? And it's by a local author. And now it's like, oh yeah, and it's very much drawn for boys. So we were laughing about it actually. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to kind of highlight about this book. I mean, some sex education is better than no sex education. I really appreciate the intent behind it. Maybe if they had other versions of the book, and maybe they do have, which I may not be aware of. Okay, so moving on. Hair in Funny Places. Just to give you a glimpse of how it looks, it's very whimsical looking and it's very obvious. It's written with people who are women in mind, girls with vaginas going into adults. So yeah, this is how it looks. It talks about pubic hair. And they made you, yeah. Okay, so where's this context of they made you? Let me see. I suppose when you grow up, we're talking about Teddy and talking about when dad and mom met. So it's very heteronormative. Okay. So it doesn't just talk about pubic hair, it talks also about procreation, heteronormative. Okay, this one. This is My Body, a book about body privacy, girl in the front. So, oh, it's wonderful. They have images of all kinds of different people with different race and ethnicity, I guess, and abilities. I love that. And then talks about taking care of your body, eating healthy, sleeping, being kind to people, and then talk about wearing clothes, and it's not okay for people to touch your private parts. And talk about like with the doctor, so a little bit more complex concepts. How you can take care of yourself by having your parent or caregiver with you when you're being examined. And I love that they are showing people of different cultures as well. Somebody with a tudong here. And then starts to talk about perpetrators, people who want you to keep things a secret, and how you can find a voice to say no. And if you are not comfortable with something, to tell a trusted adult. This is a fantastic book to go through with a young person, okay? So I would say as soon as they can learn how to read, and this is bedside reading, definitely this would be one of my recommendations. Okay, so these were the 4 books that I purchased today. And if you have any thoughts about any of the books that you have to recommend, you can post in the comments below. I actually have several others. I'm not going to go through, otherwise the video will be very long, but I'll just show you very quickly the other books that I have. Okay, I have this by Dr. Ruth. Who Am I and Where Did I Come From? It's by Dr. Ruth, the famous Dr. Ruth, and it has all these pop-ups. So it's really, really cool for kids. I would say as young as when they can read, probably even like 1 or 2. What Makes a Baby by my colleague, Corey Silverberg. I love his illustrations and how he's made it non-gender and non-racial. So this is inclusive of all people. I love the amount of thought that has gone into it, making it colorful. And this is an older book by Mark Schultz. And this book I actually has a video that goes with it. And it says belly buttons are not, belly buttons are navels. Okay, so it talks about different genitals of people with penises and people with vaginas. And this is a slightly, this is a book for older people, vaginas and periods. So I love this pop-up book. This is great for people who want to learn about their menstruation or menstruation. And then there's Amazing You. Also very, very friendly. I would say for as young as 1. So you can start to read. And then this one is not particularly about body parts or boundaries. This is really about gender roles. So talking about like, oh, you're a girl, you shouldn't do this. And then it's like, no. Okay, let me just read the end to show you. I am not a girl, May shouts. I am me. So this is fantastic. Like May reclaims her identity, and this is great. When I first saw it, I couldn't help but like I started to tear up, because I wish I had a book like this to talk about. It's not like being stuck in a certain role just because you're a girl. Imagine how our lives would have turned out if we were told that we can be anything that we want to be. Okay, so this has been Martha of Eros Coaching, just sharing with you the books that I got today. And do leave your comments below of books that you would recommend. A lot of them are classics, and that's why I keep them. And I do work with people with intellectual disabilities as well. So having children's book would be a good way to engage them in conversation, and instead of like being straight on, like looking at them, like we actually look at something and we talk about it, and it's a lot more easy for the session. So yeah, as parents, you can use books as a way to introduce the topic of menstruation, of coming of age, of boundaries. And yeah, so I hope this video has been interesting and useful to you. Thanks for watching this video. Bye.